All right, welcome to another edition of the Craig Carton Show. Great to have you here. Tyrone A. Johnson here. As always, many of you may be new to the show, so we welcome all the newbies in here. But today is what we like to call on this program Fact Check Friday.
Oh.
All right, a little Fact Check Friday. So everything that we say on the show has been fact checked.
Okay.
It's not up for debate. It's just we deal in reality on this show. We deal in nothing but factoids on this show. We have opinions as well, and if you want to attack or question opinions, have at it. But when we present facts to you, we've done the research, we've done the time, we've done the work, so that you in your very busy day with your wives and husbands and kids and work, you ain't got to worry about facts because we got the facts, all right? Fact number one on this Fact Check Friday, the Dallas Cowboys are done. Their season ended last night in horrific fashion, giving up, I think for the third time this year, a 40-burger on defense. Just when we all bought into the notion that with Quinnen Williams there and the return of a couple injured players, that all of a sudden the Dallas Cowboys were back. Well, it's not once, it's not twice, it ain't three times, it's
4 times.
4 times they've given up a 40-burger this year, and last night ended their season. Fact check that, my friends. Even if the Dallas Cowboys win out, they're not getting in. And because they lost last night, your Philadelphia Eagles, Monday night's game against the Chargers, well, obviously important. You want to figure out all your nonsense and get grooving into the final quarter of the season and obviously into the playoffs. The game doesn't mean anything anymore. And had the Cowboys won last night, then we would have seen the Eagles playing for the first time in about 2.5 years with actual pressure, on them late in a regular season to have to win a game. But let me go back to the Cowboys for a second, because it was kind of like a microcosm of everything that's been wrong with the Dallas Cowboys for a very, very long time. First off, thoughts and prayers out to CeeDee Lamb, who was on the brink of having a 200-plus yard receiving game, had 6 catches, a bucket a quarter, and then has the concussion on the deep ball, and obviously the offense changed in that moment. Number 2, the Cowboys have had a litany of great players who, for whatever reason, whether it's out of selfishness or ego or immaturity, decide that they're more important and they're bigger than the team. And you saw it last night with George Pickens. Now, George Pickens has had an amazing season statistically, right?
Yep.
Over 1,000 yards. He's a minimum of 60-plus yards prior to last night in every single game this year. He's a free agent. Cowboy fans fell in love with him. And the Cowboys are going to be in an interesting spot. You almost have to bring him back, because the combination of Pickens and Lamb is as good as any wide receiver duo in the NFL. And I think they're top 3 when it comes to just pure talent with your top 2 wide receivers, okay? Mm-hmm. That being said, you saw why Pittsburgh got rid of him last night, because there are games and series where George Pickens decides to take the night off. And I want to be very clear about this. He's an amazing wide receiver. He is a top 6 or 7 wide receiver. You want to go higher? I'm not going to argue with you. In the NFL today, the dude is dominant and has shown how good he can and is in the NFL. But you can't take plays off, man. Like the Dallas Cowboys season was on the line last night, and George Pickens decided he was disinterested in playing football last night. And it's right there for everybody to see. Like, if you're a left guard, you can hide taking a play off. Yeah. You can. Maybe you just got beat, right?
Right.
But when you're a wide receiver and you don't come back for a ball, you don't make any attempt to catch the ball at all on the deep pass down 44-30 with just over 2 minutes to go, maybe you catch that ball, maybe you score the touchdown. A lot of maybes here, but now it's a 1-score game. Who knows what happens? And you looked up and were like, yeah, the ball's right there. No interest in catching it. And it drives you crazy, because on the open market, based on talent alone, George Pickens is getting $100 million guaranteed and about $40 million a year.
Yep.
Like, he's that good. But then you watch a game like last night, and I'm saying to myself, if Jerry Jones said goodbye to Micah Parsons, a guy that's got a motor that doesn't quit, who's one of the best defensive players in football for whatever the ultimate reason really was, Jerry Jones is not giving George Pickens $40 million a year or $90 to $110 million guaranteed.
You can't.
Because you can't.
You can't.
Now, there'll be a sucker that does. There will be a team that says, man, imagine if we had George Pickens here because he is that good. But I'm just telling you now, buyer beware. Because as great as George Pickens' year has been statistically, and I'm not saying he's the root cause of last night's loss, their defense obviously is. Turnovers played a role in that as well. But man, it's so obvious that you didn't give a damn last night.
Yeah, I mean,
I hate that. I do.
And if you're the quarterback, you've been trusting him all year.
Yeah.
And you couldn't trust him yesterday. He wouldn't run the slant route for whatever reason. And he wouldn't play the ball for whatever reason.
And then when you do throw him the deep ball, and to be fair, he had the cornerback beat. The safety comes over. It would have been a tough catch anyway. And the ball lands literally 3 feet from him.
Doesn't make a play.
And he doesn't even make an attempt to
doesn't
catch
even
it.
Try.
Because they're down by 2 touchdowns at that point. He stopped caring.
He shut it down.
He made a business decision last night. But there's another part of the Cowboy thing, not just George Pickens, that's bothersome to me. And it's the fact that outside of guys like me, I assume you, obviously, being a Philly guy, an anti-Cowboy guy, I'm going to take the leap of faith. You've said something similar, and you and I are probably in lockstep on this. Why does Jerry Jones get a free pass in Dallas?
Exactly.
Why does Jerry Jones get a free pass on the NFL Today? Why does Jerry Jones get a free pass on the Fox pregame show? Why does Jerry Jones get a free pass from every major influential voice in the NFL, the NFL Network included? And I'm trying to figure that out. I come from New York. Tyrone comes from Philly, where we suffer no fools. And if we have an owner that's not getting the job done, we do our best to get that guy to sell the team. And we've successfully done that over the course of our careers and lifetimes.
Yes.
Not often, but we've made it happen, right? And I'm looking at it now, like you got Norman Brayman for Jeff Lurie, Harold Katz for multiple different owners, obviously.
Yeah, Pat Croce first, there was many over.
The Wilpons for Steve Cohen.
There you go.
Like we've done it. We've experienced it. And I'm trying to figure out, and I want to be clear, I love Jerry Jones. But Jerry Jones is a lousy, I don't want to say owner, but because he wears the hat of GM/president, he's a lousy executive.
Yes.
And under Jerry Jones's stewardship, let's just be honest about it, the Dallas Cowboys have been an unmitigated failure. But nobody ever talks about that. No one ever has the stones to say, Jerry, would you ever consider taking a step back and hiring a competent front office person to make the decisions to bring you closer to the playoffs or a title? Like, we are talking 30 years now without getting to an NFC championship game.
Yes.
In any other major metropolitan city, you would have been run out of town. You would be the least popular guy in that city. New York, Philly, Chicago, Boston, LA, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But for some reason, the oil salesman charm, which he still has, and it's great, and I love it, has fooled people into I guess, convincing people that he's actually a lot better than he is. So let me say this officially. The number one biggest problem with the Dallas Cowboys today is the same problem it has been for the last 30 years. And the answer to that problem is Jerry Jones, period, stop.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And this is how long it's been. The last time he listened to anybody was when Bill Parcells was the coach. His last year was 2006. We're now coming on 20 consecutive years of a dictator, and they've won nothing.
Yeah, now Parcells didn't win either. Romo fumbles the snap on the field.
I'm just saying, but at least when Parcells was there, he listened to somebody. He deferred a little bit to Parcells. But since 2006, it's been a one-man wrecking crew of losing.
Yeah, and to me, I love Jerry Jones. I do. I've often said in New York that I wish Jerry Jones owned the New York Jets because at least I know we're going to go out there and pretend like we're trying to build a competent team. And he has spent a lot of money. I'm not suggesting he's cheap. He's not. But at some point, man, what's the definition of insanity? Doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. Here's the reality if you're a diehard Cowboy fan. As long as Jerry Jones will not give up the reins of pro personnel decisions and the draft, the Dallas Cowboys will never win a Super Bowl. They don't even make the playoffs this year, let alone winning a Super Bowl. I feel bad for you Cowboy fans. You've had the wool pulled over your eyes one too many times. Nah, I'm not go Craigie anything. Sorry, we're having an argument like I asked the guys, Packers Bears is a huge game on Sunday.
It is
4:25 on Fox, right? Packers sitting there at 8-3-1. Bears first place right now and number one seed in the playoffs if it ended today at 9-3. And I was just wondering because I saw Mike had talked about how the cold weather was not going to be an issue for him. Obviously, he hasn't played a ton of cold weather games like this. So I said to the guys, well, what's the temperature supposed to be in Green Bay? And I got two answers. I got one answer. It's going to be 17 degrees, but it's going to feel like 2.
Yeah.
Well, then it's 2. Like, if it feels like 2 degrees, it's 2 degrees. That's why the whole wind chill thing always bothered me. Like, if it's 30 degrees, but with the wind chill, it feels like 10, then it's 10, right? If I'm outside and it feels like 10 degrees, it's 10 degrees. So in any event, right? So the game, Green Bay, Chicago, and I guess no impact on Chicago. They're a cold weather city as well.
Yeah, they're used to cold.
But if it feels like 2 degrees, it's 2 degrees.
But what do you do if it's 33 degrees? So
go ahead.
If it's 33 degrees,
okay, and it feels like 33,
but it feels like 15.
Then it's 15.
No, it's not, because if water was to fall from the sky, it'd be rain, not snow.
No.
That's why it matters.
The
feels like it's the
temperature
humid.
is what it feels like. Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Which one of us, and I include the morons downstairs, of the 8 of us, right? Which one of us is employed by Fox Weather?
Which one is employed by Fox Weather?
Yeah, that's right. Which one of us?
Well,
that'd be me.
All right.
I'm the guy that goes on Fox Weather to talk about the weather's impact on football games in college and pro, and they love me at Fox Weather.
Yeah, but they tell you the weather, and then you interpret it. You're not a meteorologist. Like, you up here acting like you on the weather board.
By the way, the computers tell every person what the weather is. You think those people actually do anything?
Those people are what program the computer, Craig.
I don't know about that.
Shout out to my friends over at Fox Weather. I love them, Craig.
I love them, but I just want to say this. I appreciate the fact they went to school for it.
Yeah.
But anybody can do it.
Just anybody can do it.
Yeah, I type it into Chat GPT. Like, what's today's weather? It just always bothers me when they're like, it's 30 degrees, but it feels like 8. Then it's 8. In any event, we'll get to that game later on, but it's a huge game.
It is.
Chicago, Green Bay, at Green Bay, Lambeau Field, which is what we love about football. It's old school football. 2 degrees. 2 degrees at kickoff is what I'm being told. 2. 1, 2.
Well, that's the feels like.
Yeah.
Be 17 around kickoff. 17 around kickoff.
It's gonna be where I come from. It's gonna be 2 degrees. I'll tell you that.
That's cold.
But by the way, I should tell you this right now.
Yeah.
That tonight is a very, very important night for me.
Oh yeah, why?
And for a lot of people who are like me. Now, I'm a much more spiritual person than specifically religious person, but I'm Jewish. I was bar mitzvahed in the whole bit, okay?
Yes.
And tonight, for my people, right? Those of us that escaped Egypt and the Pharaoh, my people, and lived off 1 day of oil for 8 days. You may have heard the story.
That's coming up soon.
You may have heard
It's coming up soon.
You may have heard the story.
I have heard that story.
You may have heard the story, okay?
Yes.
My people tonight have our biggest sporting event in maybe ever. Maybe ever. All right, and now let me walk you through why.
Okay.
North Texas plays Tulane tonight.
Yes.
In a championship game for the American Conference.
That is correct.
And because of how things work and the rules of the 12-team playoff, the winner of tonight's game between North Texas, a team I can't name a single player on, and Tulane, prior to this year, I could not tell you a single player on the big green wave either. So I want to be very honest with the audience about it. I have not watched a single game either team has played this entire year.
Okay.
All right? But tonight, I'm all in. Because the starting quarterback for Tulane is a kid named Jake Retzlaff. Now, you may know of Jake Retzlaff from a year ago when, as a Jewish player, he was the starting quarterback at BYU. They actually gave him the nickname BY Jew when he was there.
They had signs and stuff. Yep, that is correct.
And he actually had an endorsement deal last year with a wine that many Jewish people drink on high holy days called Manischewitz. It's basically like Mad Dog 2020. All right? It ain't a great wine. It's just a sweet wine. All right? It's like Night Train. All right? Which I've tasted all of them, right? Because I used to be broke. All right? So here's the deal. Jake Retzlaff tonight is the starting quarterback for the 10-2 Tulane Big Green Wave, right?
Green Wave, yeah.
All right. If Tulane wins the game tonight, they get into the playoff.
Guaranteed, yep.
Jake Retzlaff, in the history of mankind, would become the first ever Jewish quarterback to lead a team into a BCS / postseason tournament in college football history.
Right.
Which is huge. Which, now look, the greatest Jewish quarterback of all time is one of my favorite quarterbacks because he's a Brooklyn kid who played at Columbia and is the greatest quarterback in Bears history to this day, a guy named Sid Luckman.
Okay.
Sid Luckman is the greatest quarterback in Bears history, went to Columbia, dad was a mobster, all crazy background story. I read a book about him. I'll give it to you for some Christmas reading, okay?
All right.
So he's kind of like our Jackie Robinson,
okay.
To be fair. Like first notable Jewish man to make it into the NFL. Obviously, Jackie broke the color barrier in Major League Baseball. But Jake Retzlaff has an opportunity to do something that's never been done for the Jewish people. And that is lead a college football team into the tournament with a chance to win a national title. So I got to get behind that kid.
You have no choice.
I'm a Tulane fan tonight.
You know what?
Yeah, get up.
And in solidarity,
please do it.
I'm rooting for Tulane tonight as well.
We have more in common than we don't.
That's absolutely for all my Jewish friends out there.
Yeah.
I want Tulane to win the game as well.
Now, the game's at 8 o'clock tonight.
8 o'clock tonight.
I don't know what network it's on, but I'll find it.
I'll find it.
I'm assuming it's ESPN, I'm imagining, or Fox Sports 1 or something. But if you're Jewish, with all that our people have been through, especially this year, that's not been an easy year for the Jews, all right? We are all locked in solidarity watching Tulane tonight to see if Jake Retzlaff can do something that no Jewish football player, quarterback, has ever done before. I'm all in for it.
Even bigger, the game's on ABC tonight.
ABC!
Biggest stage you could do.
That's what I'm talking
biggest
about.
Stage possible for this game.
I have no other rooting interest in this game. I don't wager. I don't know the point spread in this game. I can't name another kid on either team. I don't know the mascot of North Texas. I don't care what it is. I'm all about Tulane tonight. My people need a win.
Yes. Just so people know, the coach at Tulane will be Florida's coach next season, John Summerall. So if you don't know the player, he's a very good coach.
Well, we should probably get rid of him, leaving the Jewish quarterback behind.
Well, he's graduated.
Oh,
okay,
all right.
Great. It's all
good. I'm all about it tonight. Let's go Tulane. All right, welcome back to the Craig Carton Show. A little podcast update for you, a little podcast exclusive. Former Bear, former Niner, Anthony Spice Adams joined us for a fun conversation. And we're going to put it out there as a podcast exclusive, I think right now or later today, but it'll be up there. Very funny guy, very entertaining.
He was.
And it drops tomorrow.
Drops tomorrow. Exciting.
Yeah, most top podcasts drop on Saturdays. Said nobody ever. I'm just saying. Well, we're going to make fun of other people. Got to make fun of ourselves.
That's fair enough.
Here's a little clip, though, of what you want to hear from Spice Adams as he joined us yesterday. Go ahead.
Craig, look at this. So you go to redbaron.com. You go to redbaron.com/humble pie between now and December 15th. And you can have yourself a humble
you
pie.
put that glove on like you were at a Diddy party. You
You put that glove on before. That's not your first time putting on a glove. We saw it. That's not your first time putting on a glove, Spice.
Hey, we gotta relax. We gotta relax, okay? You trying to go to fisticuffs out here, man. You just put them out.
I tell you, you'll hear the entire interview in a Saturday. Wow, a Saturday podcast release exclusive. Good dude, though. Played 9 years in the NFL.
Yeah.
Played for the Bears. Was drafted by the Niners. Played with T.O. and Jeff Garcia. We talk about all that stuff and the spicy pizza as well. Hey, let me just acknowledge something before. I know it's a quick segment here. LeBron James did something last night I didn't see coming. So LeBron and the Lakers in a close game, tie game. Mm-hmm. You know, clock ticking down. LeBron's got the rock. Top of the key is where he gets it, and he's got a choice to make: take the hero ball it, take the last shot, win the game, or miss the shot, go to overtime, or you'll pass the rock and hope that a teammate can knock down a game winner. But the situation was interesting because LeBron James, all that talk from a couple days ago, when he selfishly got his 10 points to keep that 1,200-plus game streak alive of consecutive games with 10 points or more, LeBron clearly heard the criticisms. There's no doubt in my mind. I know LeBron and his people monitor what I say on this show and what other people say negatively about him. And he took a little butthurt to the comments made about the fact that he was more important for him to score 10 points than for anything else out there.
Butthurt?
Yeah,
where did that come from?
Fair criticism. He doesn't like fair criticism. So all of a sudden we found ourselves again last night in the same spot. 8 points, not 10. Ball in his hand. Chance to worst case scenario go to overtime, make a bucket, get to 10, keep the streak alive, or take the shot, get to 10 and win the game, or pass it up. And if Hoochie Mama doesn't make the shot, you can still get to 10. And LeBron James, sensitive to the criticism from just 48 hours earlier,
that's
did
why.
the right thing. And instead of taking the shot, which he's going to miss because he's the worst end of a quarter, end of a half, end of overtime shooter in the history of basketball.
Not true.
Decides to pass it to Rui Hoochie Mama, who makes the shot. And when he makes the shot at the buzzer, Lakers win.
Yeah.
And LeBron's streak, bang, comes to an end. And I just want to say, LeBron, I appreciate the fact that you listen to me. And I appreciate the fact that my words reach your soul. And I appreciate the fact that you are saying, without saying the words, you know what? Carton was right. After all this time, I've got to admit that Craig Carton was right, and I got to stop being a stat-padding, selfish basketball player. Sometimes it's not about me. Sometimes it's not about my personal records. Sometimes it's about doing the right thing. And for the first time since he became a Laker for sure, he did the right thing last night and said, okay, I'm willing to risk my dopey streak that means nothing to anybody but him, come to an end by making the right basketball play. And I'm glad I had an impact on how you play basketball, LeBron. I'm here for you every day. If you ever want any more advice or help, you just come calling. I'm here for you. And memo to one of my favorite actors and comedians of all time, Jamie Foxx.
Yeah.
How do you like me now, Jamie? Because now LeBron's doing what I tell him to do also.
No. We're getting you checked after the show.
What happened?
This is the craziest rant in the history of crazy.
Not a rant.
You're talking about the player with the fourth most assists in the sports history.
Well, he's played more games than
anybody. No. The fourth most assists, ever.
Stat better.
And you're acting like this is the first time he's made the right basketball play. He's
rare.
only made the right basketball play. He got ripped for making the right basketball play. Now you're ripping him for making the best to take credit.
Yeah.
The hate that comes from you.
It's not hate.
It's hate. No, it's pure hate.
He's a great basketball
It goes
player.
beyond hate. You are.
But hold on. Don't you think it's interesting that 48 hours after I attacked him for being selfish,
he
wrong heard it and decided,
you were wrong then too.
Craig's right. I should probably not be selfish.
Say that. No. Now listen, criticism's fair, but you are a Jedi level hater when it comes to LeBron. Jedi level. There is no higher level, okay, of hate than Jedi level, okay?
I'll take it.
Yeah, hate him. And he made the right basketball play. I get it. He deserves credit, not backhanded credit.
Lakers get the win. LeBron made the right move, and I'm responsible for it. That's just my lot in life. Heavy is the head that wears the crown, Tyrone. More in this coming up. All right, welcome back to the Craig Carton Show. Tyrone Johnson here as well. Lakers did win last night, and it was just interesting. That's why I finished the thought on it. It was just interesting that 48 hours after I bury LeBron for being a selfish, egotistical narcissist, and I know for a fact that people at Clutch and people in his world listen to the show and are not big fans of mine because I'm the rare guy that can't be bought by them, and I'm not going to be an ass kisser. It's just not my style. The reality is that he heard it. And in the same exact spot, he decided to do the right thing this time and not pad his stats and not keep a meaningless streak alive. And he did the right thing, and the Lakers won because of it.
How do you say same exact spot? One, they're down 30. This was a tie game with 3 seconds left. They are not at all the same situation.
I'm applauding LeBron for doing the right thing. It's very rare at this stage of his career that he does the right thing. Much like when he was talking to the other team the other night, and J.J. Redick's trying to get him to play basketball and how to call a timeout because LeBron's not really on the court or in the game.
Yeah.
Stat padding all the time. Well, last night, LeBron James did something amazing. He deferred to somebody else, and Hoochie Mama made the shot and rewarded his generosity by making that little corner shot.
How long has your career been?
34 years or so.
So you're aware that for 20 plus of them, you've been on video as well, right?
Yes, I am. Very handsome.
There is, I didn't say that, but whatever. Hey, you're not ugly. You're not ugly.
I know you love
Okay, you're not ugly. But I'll say this. You know there's video of you complaining. It's on video. About LeBron passing too much at the end of the games. Now you're praising him for passing. You have video, not other people.
Yeah.
Because no one's ever got rich ripping LeBron. That's never happened before. Bayless. But you have video. You saying that he shouldn't pass late in games. And now you're saying
because early in his career, I'll tell you why. Early in his career, when he gave the ball up, it's because he was scared of the moment. The moment was too big for him. I remember Kobe Bryant even said to him at an All-Star game,
it was an
shoot the ball.
It was an All-Star game.
Shoot the ball.
It was an All-Star game.
We're giving you the ball to shoot it. Shoot the ball. He was afraid to shoot.
Or he was making the right basketball play.
LeBron James has a good reason to be afraid to shoot the ball with the clock running out. He is, in the history of basketball, the worst shooter statistically in the history of the game when it comes to last-second shots to force overtime or to win a game. That being said, and here's the problem with you, Tyrone, and people like you.
Me?
I'm trying to say something positive.
You did not.
About a guy I don't like.
You called him a narcissist? You say that's being nice?
Yeah, being nice.
Stat patter, that's being nice?
I'm being nice.
You're not being nice.
I'm saying I feel all those ways about him, but I'm also very honest with the audience. Last night, LeBron James did something that I didn't think he had in him, and that was deflect. It wasn't about him. Now, maybe he's afraid to take that shot. I don't know, but it doesn't matter. LeBron James made what turned out to be the right basketball play because Hoochie Mama makes the shot to win the game. Mm-hmm. And in doing so, he ended a streak that you know is important to him because of what he did 2 nights earlier in a 25-point blowout, staying in the game with 6 minutes to go and shooting until he got to 10 and then taking himself out. So I know how important the meaningless streak was to him. So that's why I was so pleasantly surprised when he actually gave the ball up. And I want to be clear. I don't wake up every morning saying, how am I going to find a way to be critical of LeBron James? LeBron James, for me, is like Christmas morning every day. He just gives you stuff. He gives you gifts every day that warrant criticism.
No.
Today is not that day. Today is the day where LeBron James did something so great that there's no criticism allowed or involved in my commentary of the Lakers win. Well done, LeBron. You became a team player last night.
Became a team player. Now this is Fact Check Friday.
Fact Check Friday. Never say anything wrong.
So I looked up the buzzer beaters.
Do it.
Just because I wanted to. And in his career.
Yeah, he's the worst.
Kobe has 8 in his career. And,
8 what?
Buzzer beaters.
Okay. How many did he attempt?
Hold on. He attempted more than LeBron.
Okay.
Also, you know how many LeBron has?
No idea.
8.
Yeah.
Michael Jordan, who took the most, has 9.
That's more than 8.
No. But he took more than LeBron because he didn't pass.
Because he's not afraid to shoot. You know the Michael Jordan quote? What's the famous Michael Jordan quote?
What it was if you miss whatever.
Keep on shooting.
Yeah, you keep on shooting.
That's
you miss 100% of the shots.
You miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
By the way, young men, that also applies when you're talking to the ladies.
Yeah, that's right.
You keep
shooting your shot.
Keep shooting your shot. Now I'm just saying
that. You can't say no if you don't ask.
That's right. All right, and then you just no. And remember, maybe's better than no.
Go ahead.
And yes is better than maybe. But regardless of all that, what you're saying is blasphemous. This hatred of LeBron.
It's generational. Blasphemous. You're a LeBron guy. I'm a Jordan.
I'm actually not a LeBron guy. I'm trying to be Fact Check Friday guy.
Fact Check Friday.
And he's playing at a high level still, making the right basketball play as he has for over 20 years.
In the last 5 years, there's nobody worse at buzzer beater shots than LeBron James.
Last 5 years?
Yeah.
Yeah. You mean at 37 and up?
Is he playing?
No.
He's still playing. Anyhow, congratulations, LeBron. You did something good last night, and your team won because of it. Maybe you'll do more of that. And now that the streak's over, I assume scoring 10 points no longer means anything. So you're not going to see LeBron if he only has 6 points in a game they're down by 30 and with 5 minutes to go because you're not trying to keep a Fugazi record alive. And let's be honest, it's a Fugazi record.
It's not.
Nobody has ever kept that record or even worried about that record until LeBron called his friends in the media that are on his payroll and told them, make sure you remind everybody that I've got 1,280 games in a row with 10 points or more, which, by the way, is a stat nobody has ever followed, nobody has ever kept, nobody's ever cared about until he told people to start caring about it.
Fact check once again.
Do it.
With Michael Jordan streak, who has the second
So you guys have a problem with Michael Jordan?
Hold on. Ended with the Wizards. It was the lead story on SportsCenter.
Not from Michael Jordan, it wasn't.
It was from Sports. You
Not
said
from
nobody
Mike.
kept track.
And this is what LeBron fans do.
I'm not a
when
LeBron
you
fan.
criticize LeBron, the immediate knee-jerk reaction is, well, you know what Michael Jordan did?
No.
I didn't say the name Jordan.
No. What I'm saying is, I'm talking about how people covered it. It was covered when Jordan finally didn't score 10 points.
Yeah.
When he was an old man playing with the Wizards. It was the lead story on SportsCenter, which was a big deal at the time. This is not a made-up stat.
It's a made-up stat. It's
Then
a
why
stat.
they keep track of it for Jordan?
They didn't.
They did.
didn't. Some
and
like,
you know who had the third longest streak? Wilt Chamberlain.
but no one's ever said, "Hi, I wonder who's
Was
got 10 points or more."
LeBron,
Yeah.
400 games under Jordan,
Yeah.
and then like 100 games under Wilt.
Great. Well, the streak's over now, so I guess the ass kissers in the media can no longer keep perpetuating a stat that no fan has ever thought about, cared about, or no, I've never heard a kid in the playground go, I hope I can get 10 points today, just like my hero LeBron.
Well,
like,
of
no one
course,
says that.
because 10 points is losers, though.
Nobody says that. Meanwhile, this is a huge weekend. Not just in college football, y'all championship games. Mm-hmm. Some of them are irrelevant, still great games, though, like Ohio State, Indiana, has no impact on either one of them getting in to the tournament. But what a great game and seeing that should
undefeated. Only 2 undefeated teams left.
Yeah, Big
number
Ten
1 versus
championships,
number 2.
1 versus 2. Yeah. That is the game of the month. I don't care what anyone has to say. But it has no real meaning outside of one team's going to end the season undefeated and the team to beat in the playoff. The other one's going to try to figure out how to get back to see that team again in what should be the championship game. Obviously, you got my Jewish quarterback going tonight. But the NFL, there's 3 or 4 games on the card on Sunday and night and Monday as well that are huge, that are significant. One of the games, I will get to the big ones in a second. There's one team, though, that I find fascinating, Tyrone, that people are talking about as if they're going to make the playoffs. And I can't quite figure out why that is. The Cincinnati Bengals stink.
Watch them.
The Cincinnati Bengals are 4-8.
Yeah.
I want to get that clear. They are 4-8. The notion that the Bengals run the table, and after this week's game, I guess the schedule gets pretty easy.
No, next 2 games are tough.
Okay. But they have the Bills this weekend.
And then the Ravens.
If they lose this weekend, it's totally a wrap.
Of course.
But I think it's a wrap already anyway. Because at 9-8, which is the best the Bengals could be, and that would mean that they win out.
Yep.
I don't think they're going to win out, but I'll play the game. What if they do win out? Mm-hmm. The Ravens and Steelers still play each other twice, right? Mm-hmm. Including this weekend, all right?
Yep.
So by default, even if they split, they get to 7 losses.
Yep.
All right? They would both have to lose every other game on their schedule for the Bengals to have a chance to get in as division winners. It's a non-starter, folks. The Bengals season is over. All right, welcome back to the Craig Carton Show. Huge football weekend. Some news and notes, just random stuff around the leagues, if we can. Dallas Cowboys season ended last night. We're all confirmed on that. I don't care how you want to work the schedule, massage the schedule. It's a wrap. They lost last night, and CeeDee Lamb probably out for at least 1 game, concussion protocol. I give them credit for fighting back, get into it, but their season ended last night. Detroit's, by the way, is not guaranteed to get into the postseason either. You got to keep an eye on what happens with Green Bay and Chicago. Mm-hmm. But the Lions could find themselves still on the outside looking in. And I don't think just because they put a 40 burger on the Cowboys last night that the Lions are quote unquote back. I don't. There's something wrong with the Detroit Lions, and maybe it's play calling. I don't know. But you see the schedule right there.
It's not easy. Got the Rams still on the schedule.
Yep.
And the Bears on the road still left on the schedule.
Yeah, so could the Lions win out? Yeah, they certainly could. I'm not expecting them to.
Me neither.
It's the Bill Parcells line, and I'm not a Bill Parcells guy. Your record is what it is.
You are what your record is.
Whatever. Yeah,
that's what it was.
You are what your record says it is, or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you're a couple games over 500, which brings me to the Kansas City Chiefs. You had all those, Fugazi Chief stands out there. Oh, we're going to run the table. Dude, you're a 500 football team. 12 games into the season, 500 football teams don't run the table. They don't even get a seat at the table. And I thought McDuffie, one of their talented defensive backs who spoke this week about kind of where they're at, first time in the Mahomes era that they're in this spot, 500 on the outside looking in. I think they're the 10th or 11th seed right now in the AFC. So they got a lot of teams to jump, and they lose the tiebreaker against almost every one of them. As you see the playoff picture right there. McDuffie had an interesting point, though. I'm paraphrasing it, okay?
Yeah.
So I don't want to put words in his mouth, but essentially what he said, among a lot of things, was we don't react well when they call a penalty against us. And if they call a penalty, whether we like it or not, we just have to accept it and move on. And I was so glad, and again, that's not a direct word-for-word quote, but I love the fact that McDuffie said that A, he's a great player. B, he kind of gave you an inside look at what I've been talking about, and that is, the gilded life that the Chiefs have been living in the Mahomes era, where all the big calls have gone in their favor historically, which is why you go to 7 consecutive AFC championship games, 3 consecutive Super Bowls, 5 overall, et cetera, right? Like they've never not been to an AFC championship game since Mahomes became their starting quarterback, which is crazy. And they deserve a lot of credit for that and the mini dynasty that they were, because they're not anymore. But when McDuffie says to you, we don't react well when they throw flags against us, just feeds into my narrative for the last 3 or 4 years. And that is, they've never done that to you. You've always been the benefactor of an outrageous call, a crazy call, a call in the biggest moment of a game that has always gone the Chiefs' way. This year, it hasn't gone their way. Now, you can make an argument that they got screwed by the refs in the loss against Dallas on Thanksgiving.
There's a lot of calls against
And I'm with you on that.
There's a lot of calls.
The far majority of calls that were questionable went Dallas's way.
Yeah.
And if you want to gripe about that, I got deaf ears, because I don't want to hear Chiefs fans complain about officiating.
Right.
Much like for a long time, I don't want to hear Cowboy fans complaining about officiating, because they got the calls, and Brady's Patriots got the calls, because that's what happens. And you've gotten all the calls. But the fact that McDuffie put words to it, just to me plays into the fact that for everyone that hates me for keeping the narrative alive, that's the reality. And the reality you have to come to terms with if you're in Kansas City, which I know I'm repetitive about, but I'm going to say it again. You have not won a single Super Bowl on merit. Not one. And I don't mean that you didn't win a specific Super Bowl game on merit. I mean the journey to the Super Bowl. Every Super Bowl that the Chiefs have gone to, I can show you a handful of games, not just one, in which they wouldn't have gotten there without the help of the officials. Yep. And I'm not saying good calls. Good calls are good calls. If you commit a holding penalty, it should be called. If you commit a defensive pass interference, it should be called. But there have been so many ghost penalties called that have benefited the Kansas City Chiefs. And now McDuffie's telling you they don't know what to do when that happens. They're completely unprepared for the referees calling a game evenly or in the other team's favor. And I love it. And the fact that McDuffie's acknowledging it, if you're a diehard Chiefs fan, now you got nothing left to say. Because one of your best players is telling you we are immature and unprepared when we don't get the calls in our favor. So this little mini dynasty of yours, it's built up on a house of cards. It's built up on bad officiating. Is Mahomes great? Yes, he is. Is Kelsey a Hall of Famer? Yes, he is. Is Andy Reid one of the great coaches of the modern era of football? Yes, he is. But they still needed help from the Zebras to win at the level they've won. And when the full story is told about the Kansas City Chiefs in the Mahomes-Reid era, it is going to be told with an asterisk like Roger Maris's home run. Because did they win? Yes, they did. But they won by having an unfair advantage of the referees being a part of every win. And now that they're not getting the calls, isn't it interesting that they only have one win in a single score game. Last year, they won 12 games that were decided by a touchdown or less, and they got all the calls.
All the calls.
This year, suddenly they're not getting the calls, and I believe they're 1-5 in one-score games.
They are so far.
Why do you think that is? Why aren't they good enough to win one-score games this year? Because the refs are not bailing them out. Period. Stop.
Yes, and does this also apply to any other dynasty? I just want to ask very quickly before the break, because I still believe the Patriots never go on that run without that stupid tuck rule. The Raiders should have been in the Super Bowl that year, and if that against the Rams, and then it never starts. But because they got the ball rolling via the referees, that increased their cheating, and it led to most of Tom Brady's winning as well.
I can't speak to the other Super Bowls, but that one, the Raiders got screwed on. The only issue with that is Tampa, New England wasn't yet, the most popular flavor in town.
Not yet.
Like Tom Brady wasn't Tom Brady yet.
Yeah.
Bill Belichick wasn't Bill Belichick yet. So the referees made that horrendous call that screwed the Raiders 100%, but not because at that time the Patriots were getting the benefit of bad officiating. That led to the start of it. But that wasn't like, we got to do right by New England. And that's what Kansas City has lived on for the better part of the last decade. So in any event, Kansas City, tough game against the Texans. Kansas City's at home, favored by 3.5. If they don't get the calls, the Texans will shut them out. I'm all about Houston this week. All right, welcome back to the Craig Carton Show. Tyrone's got his picks coming up here in just a second. Look, you have tons of college football this weekend. It's going to be freezing in the Northeast. Good day to just make a roaring fire, grab some Grand Marnier and your best gal, and to sit on the couch and make private wagers with her as to what's going to happen in the game. And don't leave the house. That's one of those types of weekends. Just try to make sure I didn't leave out any of the big football games from this weekend. Colts-Jaguars, huge game.
Huge game.
Hard to get excited, though. Colts are going in the wrong direction. I don't really like watching the Jaguars play. No Travis Hunter, of course, with the season-ending injury. But that's a huge game, obviously. Chiefs-Texans, huge game. I'm all about Houston, that great defense, going into Arrowhead and effectively ending the Chiefs season for real. Like, if the Chiefs don't beat the Texans, they're like the Dallas Cowboys. It's a wrap. Mathematically, are they alive? Sure, why not? But it would be a complete wrap. The Chiefs would be eliminated from the postseason. But before we get to your picks, there is a story that the NFL is always trying to find a new location for a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
It's usually at San Francisco this year. New Orleans gets it. Arizona gets it.
L.A., SoFi.
Yeah, SoFi gets it. And there's a peninsula that has apparently offered the NFL $1 billion.
$1 billion.
$1 billion a year to be the only home of the Super Bowl moving forward.
That would be interesting.
And they put out a map of what the peninsula looks like. I don't know if you want to take a look at it.
I want to see it.
There it is right there.
That's why you called it that.
Right, that's right
that's
there.
not a peninsula.
Yeah, it's a peninsula.
Yeah.
See, it's got water on three sides. That makes it a peninsula.
Yeah. I know.
By the way, I don't know if I want the Super Bowl on that piece of land.
No, I'm not comfortable there. I'm not comfortable there.
Maybe on the mainland to the right.
It feels like, I don't know. And then you got
the bottom of it, sometimes they say it's very humid.
Down
there.
at the bottom, I can see that, yeah. Swampy even.
Sometimes
swampy, they say. Yeah, it's a thing.
All right, take
Why does that exist? Why does that exist?
All right, Tyrone, what is your record this year on your picks?
I think I'm 25 and 13, 25 and 12.
25 and 12.
25 and 12. All right.
So that's a great record. If you're going to wager, have a plan going in. If you lose, I know you're going to be pissed, but don't chase bad losses with more of your good hard-earned money. Live to fight another day. Bet responsibly and recreationally. And if you like Tyrone's picks, great. Follow him. But if not, you can certainly make your own picks. And always use the tools that companies provide you, like wager limits and deposit limits and time limits. And don't make wagering a way to make money. It is not a way for you to earn a living. With that, we go to Tyrone and his big picks.
Yes, got 2 in college, 1 in pro once again this week. I start off.
You better have Tulane and my main man.
I didn't pick that game, but I like Tulane.
Air Manischewitz.
But I'm starting in the Big 12. where you have another rematch. There's a few rematches this week during these weeks. I like BYU this time, plus the 12.5 versus Texas Tech.
BYU kept the coach, right?
The coach,
I guess the Crumble founders, BYU grad, put up a bunch of money for him.
A bunch of money, and Church of the Mormon Church as well picked in money, and they kept them. They were the ones who parted with the Jewish quarterback, so I think they're going to lose the game, but I'm picking them to cover the 12.5 against Texas Tech.
All right.
Then we go over to the game number 1 versus number 2.
BYU can still get in or no?
They can still, if they win, they're in.
Okay, got it.
If they win, they are in. Texas Tech would also be in.
So the winner of this game is in.
That would likely knock Notre Dame out, actually, if
BYU won.
BYU was able to win. So it's a big game for a couple of reasons.
Okay.
I'm going to number 1 versus number 2 in the Big Ten. I like Ohio State minus the 4.5 versus Indiana in the game. Indiana's real. I just think that Ohio State just has more guys and a couple of plays. I think they're going to win by a touchdown, but I got them covering in that game.
I like Cignetti. I like Indiana. I have no feel based on the spread of that game, but Ohio State's run defense is badass. I'll tell you that.
And they've been running the ball. A guy named Bo Jackson. We've never heard a running back play well before named Bo Jackson.
Nice.
Ohio State's running back has really emerged as the season's going on. And we go over to the NFL. The Bears are feeling themselves right now. I think they're going to be humbled for a week. I like the Packers minus the 6.5 in the cold.
2 degrees
against the Bears. Yes, 17 degrees. Feels like 2. I do. I like the Packers minus 6.5 versus the Bears to win the game.
Yeah, the spread's a little weird on that, considering that the Bears are the number 1 seed right now. The Bears came off the huge win Friday against the Philly. This would normally be the kind of game where you look at from a handicapping standpoint and say it's a letdown game because of the big win on the road against Philly. The only reason I don't feel that way is because it's a division rival.
Right.
And this game's for first place.
Right.
By the way, if Green Bay wins, they become first place in the division. The spread, though, is weird to me. I think that spread should be less. So I'm with you. I would go with Green Bay in that game as well.
It just spoke to me.
Green Bay's not been great at home this year.
They have not been.
You lost to Carolina at home this year. But I would probably take that same side. Enjoy your weekend. Make sure you check all our social channels out. That exclusive podcast interview with Spice Adams will drop tomorrow as well. You don't want to miss that. It's awesome.
It's fun.
And we'll be back here Monday with the results of all the football. Have a blessed weekend, and let's go Tulane.